The Hebrew Free Loan Society of New York City, the HFLS, is a nonprofit organization that offers interest-free loans to low and moderate income residents of New York City, Long Island, and Westchester.
Welcome to the CHYE in partnership with COL Live K-Factor podcast with your host, Rabbi Yehoshua Wordy, director of CHYE. Each week we bring you interviews with amazing Jewish entrepreneurs sharing their challenges and successes. Their stories will inspire you to make the Keli to take your business aspirations to the next level. Welcome back to this week's edition of the K-Factor. We're very excited. We have here one of Crown Heights' young entrepreneurs sitting here with Moshe Frank, who I think when he was just born an entrepreneur. It's just, some people, it's in their blood from the moment they're born. Other people work on it as they get older. Moshe, I think it was in his blood from a young age. He's, Baruch Hashem, a very talented fellow who has his finger in many different businesses, very creative. There's 4 different businesses that I know of: travel agent, musician. He has a tech startup, Resume, and he has an art gallery. 4 different businesses. Entrepreneur extraordinaire. So Moshe and I, we go back. Baruch Hashem, CHYE has our workspace on Empire Boulevard, open, shared workspace, open from 9 to 7 every day for people that want to get productive instead of working out of their bedroom or their living room. And so Moshe Frank was one of our first users, one of our first members at the workspace. He was there every day. I saw him in action, working his magic. And Kanai Nahara, he's a man of great talents. And CHYE is all about sharing the journey. And Moshe is in the middle of the journey, and he's going to share with us some of his journey. So Moshe, welcome to the K-Factor podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Rabbi Wordy.
It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you for taking out of your busy day to be here. And so, in K-Factor style, we like to take people through the journey. So walk us a little bit through the journey. You graduated yeshiva, you finished smicha, and you went into, what was your first steps into business? How did you get into business, and what's the backstory?
So I barely finished yeshiva, if I may say. And my first job at a yeshiva was actually teaching on the Shluchim online school. I did that for a year. It was a wonderful opportunity. Then I think I realized I needed to deal with real people, not computer screens. Then I worked in Chabad on Wall Street for a year by Rabbi Katz, where we developed some very nice programs like Lunch and Learns and the Wall Street Jewish Network. And after that, I think I realized I wanted to be involved in the business world, and perhaps being involved in the klal in a different fashion. So I did real estate for a couple of months, and then I worked in a travel agency for a bit. Then they did not need me anymore, and I opened my own.
And that was it. You were off.
That was it. I was off.
So what connected with you? Like you were on your own. Some people, they get laid off and they move into a different field. What connected you with the travel agency business? What was appealing to you? And
what was appealing was the margins. Once you're in a business, you know what it takes. So it's very easy to open up in yourself because you've been through it already. You know how it works, what has to be done.
Just to interject, somebody wise once said, if you want to become an entrepreneur in the industry, first get a job, get to know the industry and the inside out, then start your business.
Yeah. The funny thing is, as creative as I think I am, I often end up in businesses that somehow I bump into. So it's not like I think of them myself. It's usually I bump into them and, let's do this, And then after I was doing the travel agency for a couple of years. And there were changes happening in the industry that I thought maybe I have to find another business. So that's when I got put into the art business and technology. So I guess I had some background in technology already. During my other business escapades, I was involved in like auto insurance search engine startup, and which did okay, not great, and then I got involved in this software that automates purchasing for companies who operate on the gray market. And this all happened at the same time. This software, I'm like, oh, let me do a software that instead of some software I bumped into, but software that I really believe in that will help people. So I thought of doing Tinder-like video for job hiring. So the biggest part of a job hire or any transaction or connection in general is the person. So I thought maybe we'll do a video resume concept where people could swipe through and see 30-second videos of the candidates with their resume attached to it. This way they could actually meet the person. So then we launched Resume. And we did, and I opened my art gallery at the same time out of a little garage across street from Basel.
It's quite an undertaking to launch two initiatives at once. But let's slow down a little. Let's focus in a little. I mean, it's an interesting and exciting concept to get into a tech startup, and there's many different parts to it. There's the technical, logistical aspect on the back end, and then there's the marketing side of it, getting it out there to the world. So let's back up. How did you to make a startup, a tech startup of that magnitude that you envision? What led you there? What opened up your horizons to being able to think in that way?
So, like I said, I was involved in other technology projects in the past, so I knew what it would take. And just trying to help people find jobs in a larger, scalable way. Because, I do enjoy helping people find their careers and passions. So, making a software would allow it to grow in a scalable way that I don't have to be involved.
So you did the market research and you saw that the market was wide open?
I cannot ever say I've ever done market research on any of my projects. My market research is let me try it and see what happens. So I'm not that, just, I don't know. That's it. I like to try and find out to see myself.
Okay.
And market research, takes time and money, and I think I get too excited about the project. I skip that segment. Not that you shouldn't do it.
So walk us through the journey then. You come up with the concept. So in order to make it happen, you had to contract with a app development company that built it for you?
Yeah. So I was toying with the idea a little, and then I actually met someone at a ski resort in Utah who put in the initial seed money. We got to know each other over the weekend. And I called him. I said, I have this idea. I think this Tinder video job thing. He said, oh, sounds good. Let me speak to some people. So with his investment, that really started the whole process. And then I found the development team, since my younger brother is in software, so it was easier to find a team and get through it, all the things necessary to launch it. So I did that for 2 years, Resume.
So 1 second. So now you developed it. You had the app development team that created it and all the software.
The
graphic designers involved in that. But then there's bringing it out to the world and having the customer acquisition and finding people to actually use the platform. So tell us a little bit about how that went. How did you get it out there? And
I just want to say,
going now?
We're not active with Resume. It's live. It's on iOS, Android, mobile, and desktop. But lately, we're focusing more on virtual trade show concept, which is doing a lot better, which is called sellermeet.com.
And that's using the same technology?
It's using similar technology, similar concept, but instead of profiling candidates, we're profiling companies. So it's basically taking a trade show concept and trying to virtualize it. So the key in a trade show is the human element. Especially in services, I would say in products also, it's all about the human being. So I guess we switched from marketing humans to marketing companies and products and services. So the way we started it, so it was actually in August. we had interest from Marcus Lemonis. CNBC is a show called The Prophet. He was interested in our Reelsame platform, but he wanted it for products. So he owns a bunch of chain stores.
How did you get his attention?
I met him at a trade show. With Reelsame, I was visiting a lot of trade shows, and that's how we onboarded companies. In general, trade shows is a great place to.
So you met him, and you sat down with him at a meeting? Or?
Yeah, we met him there. He liked it a lot. Let's follow up, blah blah. And then we met with him, and then he just took his company public this past summer. So I guess he was busy with a lot of things, and he said, "Let's revisit in New Year's, like I guess would be Tuesday." But I didn't have the patience to wait a half a year, or I'm not going to wait around. So we took his concept of product selling to his chain to really opening up to everyone, that you could pitch your product to people who are looking in that category. So right now you go to sellermeet.com, we have over 700 vendors in all different industries. We filmed about 35 shows already, and you could really find product. If you're in the Amazon business, it's a good place. We filmed CTIA. We have about 90 vendors from CTIA, or any industry that if you missed a show or you're looking for vendors, if you have a business, you're looking for a product, one way is you go to a show. This way we do 30-second videos of the vendors, and then you could virtually walk the show and focusing on the human element. Because you go on a website of the shows, they'll show you a listing, but you don't get to meet them. And the big part of show that you're going to go to travel, spend a lot of money going or exhibiting is the human element. So we're trying to.
So you sell your technology to shows so that people that missed a show could then log on afterwards and they could see who came to that show, or you're just a platform that's open to the whole entire public?
We're more of a marketing platform. We don't partner yet with the shows. We do have interest from shows about it. But the point is to able to walk the expo hall without being there. Lately, we're focusing more on services and products, because we found that services has to do with the person, like a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, who exhibits the shows enjoy and appreciate our product more, because you can really differentiate between the professional and the services based on the person. Because you have 20 lawyers, they all basically do the same thing. So having a video really differentiates. We have a product that's more niche. I do this and he does that. And so in the past month, I would say we're focusing more on services, also at the trade shows, but expanding more now. We're getting into healthcare. But the key is people have found it very helpful on our website, sellermeet.com, to really speed date, so to say, the vendors without actually having to go to the show.
So what's your revenue model? How are you making revenue off of
we are not making revenue. I should say we're not making. Right now, companies just pay us whatever, around $50 to be on our platform. And we're a startup, so we're still figuring out where our revenue is. But just the companies themselves have free marketing. Just from a video, they can link up to our site. But no revenue yet. We're still a startup, and we'll figure it out. But could possibly use the search engine and sponsor results, et cetera, But Reelsame and SellerMeet is all about marketing the company, product, service in a video to really connect. Because Google essentially is a yellow pages online, but there's no human element, so to say. If you click on the website, then the company might have a video. So here our whole focus is the person. So that's where we're up to right now. And think, Reelsame, I would say didn't grow very quickly. And SellerMeet, we're only up for a couple of months, and we already have 700 vendors. We have Citibank. We have some very big established companies that really appreciate our product. But I said our latest focus is really going to be professionals, and what we're focusing at this moment, we're actually right now, is healthcare. This way, people, if they're looking for a doctor, they go to our website, they'll drop it in, say, I'm looking for a doctor in my area. Instead of seeing ratings, you get to see a video of the doctor to really connect to the person. The podcast is audio, and you really connect the person at a certain level. And video is the most personal thing that you can really connect and see if there's synergy between you and this professional. And that's really what a professional service is. So that's what we're focusing on right now.
That's very exciting. So how would you tell us a little bit, talking like marketing wise? So, I mean, in order to do this, you really need to get out there and you need to really market yourself and your company. So tell us, what's your marketing strategies?
So I would say marketing strategies for every business is different. It also depends on how much money you have. Obviously, you could throw in a bunch of money into Google ads and, you will get results, on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, etc. However, today, more than ever, I believe the reason why it's so easy to start a business is the technology is basically free. So if you build up an Instagram account, there's a virality element for our platform, sellme.com. Every company has a private link. So companies are always looking for content, since everyone's social media obsessed, rightfully so, because it's very effective. They're sharing our videos with their companies and their customers. By the way, here's a video of us at the show, et cetera, et cetera. And right now, organically, based on our limited budget, we're focusing just on companies wanting to share their content with their consumers or potential customers. So right now for Selling we're doing mostly organic, and of course SEO by putting the keywords people looking for this particular show or this particular product, our thing will come up.
Nice. It's very exciting. So I'm jumping to a different angle. I know quite a few people here in the neighborhood that have tech startup ideas. And one of their challenges is always finding the right development team and working with the development team. What words of wisdom would you share with people, through your experience of with doing your software and your company?
It's, I would say, the two options in like every business is you go to an experienced development company, but they'll probably charge you from $150 an hour and upwards, but there's less risk because, they're here. The other easy option is you go to Upwork, Odesk, these overseas developers, and you basically speed it with different software people. You give them little projects to do. You see how they respond, and there you get it for $5 an hour, $8 an hour, especially the software developers that have 0 ratings. So you really want to discover them, and then you end up finding some great talent. So if you have very little money, I would tell you go straight to Upwork. Don't deal with any development company. If you have more money and you could spend more, definitely go with an experienced development team that was referred to you. And just a warning, for development teams, you really have to trust the team in a crazy way if you're paying a lot of money, because it's sort of like a car mechanic. We don't know what's exactly happening, and you just put full trust in them, and they'll say, yeah, it's happening. Yeah, don't worry. Now, one good thing that a software development has better than a mechanic is you could try it out yourself. You could go, okay, if I click this button, will bring me to the page that we agree that we'll go to, or will this thing happen? So it's in a certain way very easy to see if they're really doing their work, because you could test it yourself. As in a mechanic, someone says there's 20 problems, they fix it all. You don't really know if there was ever a problem, et cetera, But with software, you could really test it. So you ask the guy, so what did you do? Did you build this page? Okay, did it connect here? You don't have to be that smart to test it. To develop it is very hard, and therefore you should either fire a co-founder who's a developer himself or find a team. And like I said, Upwork is a great place to find super cheap labor, and especially finding the developers have 0 ratings that's just starting are going to charge you less and feel need to prove themselves. Or even on Upwork, you could find better developers for $25 an hour in India. But if you have a lot of money, definitely go with an established development team. All the big companies in the U.S. all have their developers in-house, because technology is such a big part of business today. You don't want to have people who you can't really, so to say, knock on their door and ask them what's happening. You need them in person, in-house.
Very nice. So now jumping to another angle over here, you mentioned that part of your marketing is you go out there to trade shows and you network. There's a lot of people here that go to trade shows or think of going to trade shows. Tell us a little bit about your experience in going out there and what it takes to succeed and navigate a trade show.
You really have to know what you want out of the show, who you're trying to meet, who your focus is. The great thing about a trade show is a company spends a lot of money and time exhibiting. So any person that's hard to meet in their office to get a meeting, here's like a Melech Masad element. They're all out there. The CEOs, the vice presidents are all sitting by their booths, like either looking for business and or just showing that they exist. So it's a great place to meet whoever you want. And like people like Marcus Amonis from CNBC was walking, trade shows are very high level in general. So it's a great place to meet people, to start relationships, to make things happen.
How do you open conversations to get people to talk to you?
I do recommend maybe having a few l'chaims before you go to the trade show. It will definitely make you less inhibited. But the great thing about a trade show is a certain open, it's a modern day marketplace environment to really start things. But in terms of meeting people in general in business, I would say today it's easy as ever to meet people because of technology. That people have all these filters in place where they're happy to read an email, and if it piques their interest, they'll respond to you, as opposed to a phone is too personal.
I'm just asking you on the fly over here. Was there ever like a challenge? There was a particular company you were trying to get through. It was challenging, and you had a breakthrough to get through them, like a story that you could share.
I think meeting Marcus Lamotis was something I always thought would be great to meet, because I think I really connect to his philosophy and how to do things. And I just bumped into him, so I can't say I did anything special.
Mm-hmm. So all the companies you were targeting, they were just right there, or was there ever a time when you had to use some creativity to, find your way in?
I mean, there are times where I was trying to meet companies, and I just stood outside the office building and waited till they came out, and I just started talking to them. I've done a lot of crazy things to meet people. I mean, with my travel agency, I used to sit in the airport lounges and talk people up, and so I've done a lot of. I did a lot of crazy things to get people.
So people want to hear stories. Share with us.
I mean, even right now, if you walk by my art gallery, you will often find me schlepping people off the streets. So I guess I haven't really changed in my creative methods.
Guerrilla marketing.
The key here is, I would say, is in any situation, is you have to put yourself in a position. You have to make a keli to really allow people to connect with you, and then whatever happens after that is up to the Eibusher. But you have to put yourself out there and take a few hits, and things usually work out eventually.
So as you mentioned your art gallery, let's go there right now. Tell us a little bit, first of all, how you got into art, and then tell us more about your art business.
Credit does go to CHYE for getting into the art business. When I was running my travel agency, the Betzal Art Gallery is actually right across the street from CHYE. So when I would make a little money, I was single, I had nothing to do with my money, so I would go across the street and shop in the Betzal Art Gallery. And, once you pop, you can't stop. So I just kept on buying more and more art. And then right before my wedding, I needed some money. So I sold one of the pieces at a profit. I'm like, oh, it's that aha moment. I would say a lot in business happens, that when you make your first profit in something, it sort of gives you this confidence that this is a real business, that moment, like, I just made some money with doing this. I think I could keep on doing this too. But being, into startups, you're going to get a lot of hits, a lot of misses, more misses than hits. But if you stay in the game, you really, I would say, most people don't make it to first base. Every base you pass, you're competing with less people. So the crazier you are and the more risk you're going to take, there's even less risk taking risks, because no one takes risks, if that makes any sense.
Well, turn that into an example.
So, we started, just say my art gallery. It was in a garage. It was hard. Just
well, before you jumped to the art gallery, so you sold one. Take us through the journey.
Okay, so I sold one painting. I think I paid maybe $2,500, and then I sold it for $3,500. I'm like, that was pretty cool. So then I kept on buying more and more and more art, and then, like I said, there was changes in the travel industry. I was afraid that the travel industry would take a left turn, and I have to find a new business, and I was already into collecting art. So I was renting a garage for my car on Troy and Lincoln. So I was I was starting Resume, and I didn't have money for an office, so I used my garage as an office. Got electricity in there. It did have some leaks, so on the rainy days, we definitely experienced the weather inside as well. Whatever was outside, it was inside too. And then I realized this little garage would be a great art gallery, because to rent a space on Kingston Avenue or any main busy street is super expensive. So I said, if we fix this little garage up a little, it could be a great gallery. Since the raw look is very in style these days anyway, so it works well. You don't have to put too much money to make it ready. So I walked to Kingston Avenue, and I realized that there's a little garage behind, then it was a glasses store, now it's Calabria, across the street from Basel, the northern part of Crown Heights, which is very modern and cool and hip. So this garage would be a great deal. So I go to the owner, I said, could I rent the garage? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I leave him the deposit. Then like a day later, he's like, oh, actually, my son needs that garage for his car. So, I was took a little step back. And then he said, by the way, there's a motorcycle club next door to this garage. So his garage that was not rented was one. And there's 3 garages. The motorcycle club is having difficulty paying their rent. You may want to talk to them, maybe do some type of partnership. I said, sure. So we made a deal with the motorcycle garage. They were very happy since they only used part of it anyway, and their members weren't paying their dues. It was tough for them. So for 2 years, we shared the garage gallery with the motorcycles, and had some leaks here and there. The no air conditioning, no bathroom, so it had its great challenges. And after 2 years,
but it got you through the door. It got the attention and the traffic.
It definitely got us attention. We did many sales there. It did did okay, pretty good. And then they said they wanted, and we were paying like $250 a month. Then the guy's like, actually, he realized after 2 years, this is really a retail store. It's not a garage. And he wants like $2,000. I said, for the leaks and the no bathroom, and we'll find another place. And Baruch Hashem, there's a space available right across the street on the second floor, Booth and Bun. And now we have our very most beautiful gallery.
So take us a little bit through a journey, though. What do you mean, obviously in every business you have to become a specialist in something. How did you come to specialize in art, and what area of art do you specialize in? And
so in every area of business, you just have to do it. You become a specialist after doing it. I usually say
people have to know they're coming to you. They're not looking for a Picasso. I mean, what areas do you focus on?
Okay. So regarding specialists, you definitely become a specialist on the job. Like someone finishes law school, they don't know how to. They don't know what to do in law. They learn. It's really an apprenticeship. The first 2 years, they figure it out, and then they actually really do it. So we started, but I was already an art collector from before opening the art gallery, so I knew somewhat what was going on. But I was learning. I am learning. I'm still learning now about the art markets. But our focus is basically Judaica art. And we range from $10 up to $20, $30, $40, $50,000 range in painting. So we have a very wide range, and we also always looking for new artists, and we're always taking on new artists. And recently, I brought on a partner, Ellie Winter, into the business, who's really taking it to a whole new level. And he's been in the business for over 8 years. So now, Baruch Hashem, he is managing the art gallery.
What does that mean? Taking it to a whole new level. Quantify what that means.
I would say the art gallery is always like a side hobby business. It wasn't very focused. I was more. I am still very. My main focus is my technology business. So to have someone involved in it full time, and he's been doing it for over 7 years and built a very good reputation in the business, just puts a strong focus. And we're never open. We used to be open on weekends and nights or random times. We never had time to walk in there. Now we're open every day, 12 to 7, evenings as well. I still go there myself in evenings. So we're full force, and we're very active on social media. I believe we have the largest Instagram Jewish art account in the world, I believe.
Nice. So as we
And I just want to
yeah.
say, starting a business and opening a business and marketing a business has never been cheaper or free than ever. So really today, 2018, the tools out there and the marketing platforms are so little and nothing. It has made starting a business so easy.
I mean, the cost is so little.
Cost so little. Like my
Right.
younger brother, he's in a dorm in Hadar Torah now, and he just out of his dorm room just signed a very large contract with the biggest Uber rental company in North America called Tower, all out of his dorm room. Meaning that you don't need an office, you could work remotely, everything's on the computer, everything's on the phone. So I just telling people who want to start businesses, there's never been a time easier, and the startup costs, you don't need an office, you don't need a phone, you have a phone anyway, you have a computer anyway. It just, it's all about pushing it forward, starting and going,
Nice.
And in terms of connecting people, it's never been easier or cheaper than ever in history.
No question about it. No question about it. So in this last few minutes over here, very quickly, tell us a challenge you faced once in any one of your businesses and how you overcame it.
I face challenges every day. Recently, the art gallery wanted to have it open more often, since startups are very risky and it costs a lot of money to be involved in. And I was trying to find a way to make it possible to have it open more often, because the more often you're open, the more business you could be done. And I brought on a partner, and it's been working out very, very well. As well with the travel business, it's Baruch Hashem. Also, I brought on partners, and I would say knowing what you're good at is very, very important, and do what you're good at, and then pass on the rest to someone else, because you'll end up making a lot more doing what you're good at and partnering with other people, even though the first time partnering with someone, giving him part of your profit is very difficult. I've done it many times, but once you do it, you realize it's the best thing to do. You have more time in your hands, and you're not, your teva, your personality is not being forced to do things you shouldn't do. If a restaurant owner says he'll be the cook, the waiter, the chef, and the cashier, and the janitor, it would be very difficult, because he ends up being nothing gets done well. So it's very important as a startup person, and it's harder because you have less money to pay other people. But bringing on partners is, the greatest way to do it, and dividing things up and just doing what you're good at. Very important.
Who's your business role model?
I have many. I have Rabbi Wardy, who created this wonderful organization from nothing to help entrepreneurs, and from entrepreneurs especially. And he's taken this organization from, nothing, from a share in someone's office to, the biggest events and the largest and the very helpful events to many entrepreneurs. So I would say any person that's working very hard and creating things is people who I look up to.
Nice. Work-life balance. How do you fit in taking care of a family, taking care of your Yiddishkeit, and taking care of your business all at once? Any tips for anybody?
I don't know if my wife will say I specialize in this. Baruch Hashem, I learn with Rabbi Zalman Goldberg every single morning, which is definitely an anchor to my day. That starts my day in a very good thing, good zone. It's priority. Having a business means you're always available, and also means you're never available. So, you could be anywhere, and you could almost not be anywhere at the same time. As opposed to a 9-to-5 job, you have to be there. Once you leave, you're not there anymore. So, the balance is what your priorities in life. I'm assuming starting the beginning part of business is the hardest time, and you're being home less is probably going to happen. But it's all about priorities. So if you want to make less money and hire people to manage it, you'll be home and you'll be available more or less. So it's really depends on the situation. It's really about priority.
Got it. Any stories of amazing story of Hashgacha Pratis or Kiddush Hashem that happened through your business that you'd like to share?
I do hope that every day my businesses are Kiddush Hashem. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I would just say that I don't want to say there's one story, and I really say every single day, every moment is Hashgacha Pradas, and just the way things play out. I mean, my wife just had a baby, and I was wondering how I'm going to run the business without being there. And, a month before, boom, I found a partner to really operate and manage the gallery. So, but once you're in business, I think Rabbi Shah brings this down, that you, as a business person, you really see Hashgacha Pradas every day, every moment, everything. But you have to stay in the game to see the Hashgacha Pradas. You can't, say, let me start a business, and after a day, nothing's happening. I would say nothing's happening today is also part of Shabbos. Knowing that what doesn't work is part of the process. So that this person or this avenue or this path is not going to help. But a key thing is that in starting a business is people say, I don't know if it's a good idea. It's so stupid. Like your garage, it's leaking and there's no heat. Maybe you shouldn't do it. And you have a million people saying why it's not going to work out. And, in general, I would say the successful people will tell you why it's going to work, and the people who have not yet been successful will tell you why it won't work. So you have to keep focused, and once you're in the game, things open up for you. There's no direct path. If you do this, or this will happen, or that will happen. Once you're in the game, I mean, I used to be a musician. I used to play. So one of my biggest customers became a caterer in the art business because I met him through music. So there's no, and then I have art clients become my travel clients. So there's no one direct path to anything in life. There's no rules. So I would tell you, anyone who wants to give you advice about business, if they're not paying your rent, you should probably not take them that seriously. And if they are, you still shouldn't. But you have to really filter out the noise that people will say. And the easiest thing to tell someone is don't take a risk, because there's no risk in telling someone don't take a risk. But really, it's the biggest risk. But so you have to remember that people don't want to take the risk of telling you to take a risk because then they're afraid that you're going to come back to them saying, "Oh, you told me it was going to be a good idea." So taking a risk, I would say, is the least risky because most people don't take risks. I said that before. I'll say it again because I really feel it's true. I mean, with my art gallery, I do believe we're one of the youngest retailers on Kingston Avenue. I think a lot of the retailers were there for many years and they built themselves up. And it's because we started in a little garage. And once we built up our business from $250 a month to rent, we're able to move into a beautiful art new space, which is really nice. Only because we took that dive. And with this leaking garage, you can imagine we had paintings getting damaged, a lot of money worth, So we took the hits, but Baruch Hashem, the pluses were bigger than the hits, so we're able to stay alive.
That's great. This has been a wonderful conversation. For anyone that's listening to this, if they wanted to reach out to you to gain from your wisdom, how would they reach you? I'm
very often in the Leviim Art Gallery. I spend time there. It's also my unofficial office. You can also always email me at moshe@cellarmeat.com. And I do, if I can help you, I'd love to help you, connect you, or to give you some advice, some ideas. But I would say the main key is you have to put yourself out there, make a keli, and Hashem has weird ways of helping. So there's no one way you're going to be helped,
Awesome. Everybody have a wonderful week. Been another wonderful interview at the K Factor. Mechayel El Chayel. Thank you for listening to the CHYE in partnership with COL Live K Factor podcast with your host, Rabbi Yehoshua Wordy. We look forward to bringing you more amazing entrepreneurs to share their stories. See you next week.